Welcome back everybody to Microeconomic Theory 2. Today we will learn about cost, revenue and profit in perfect competition, monopoly market and monopolistic competition. The content will be in 7 parts. First, cost structure of the firm. Second, revenue in perfect competition. Third, profit maximization in perfect competition. Fourth, revenue in monopoly market. Fifth, profit maximization in monopoly market. Sixth, normal profit in perfect competition. And seventh, monopolistic competition. After the lesson, you will have to find answers for these questions. First, firms in perfect competition gains something in the long run because of something. Second, a monopoly firm gains something because of something. And third, a firm in monopolistic competition gains something in the short run by doing something in the submarket, but gains another thing in the long run when more firms can do something. We will begin at the cost structure of the firm. It is interesting to see whether the total cost is linear or nonlinear, and the beginning of the total cost curve is from the origin of the graph or not. We may have the wrong perception of the total cost. We know by theory that the total cost is a combination of fixed cost and variable cost. Therefore, the total cost cannot start at the origin of the graph, but somewhere on the y-axis, because the fixed cost shifts the total cost up for a certain number. However, the linearity of the total cost is not obvious. In 1951, Joel Dean wrote in his book Managerial Economics and advised that the total cost might be linear. He observed by statistics in many firms and in manufacturing, and used the statistics to calculate the cost, and he found that the total cost might be linear. This was very controversial to economists at that time. Mainstream economists didn't accept that, because if they accepted that the total cost was linear, then the profit maximization cannot be achieved. And it would mean that all the economics that mainstream economists taught in schools were wrong. Therefore, the idea of linear total cost of Joel Dean are taught in an alternative school called the managerial economics instead of the mainstream economics, and gains many supporters in past at least 60 years. For mainstream economics, the total cost is nonlinear, and it is like the equation to the power of 3. Here you see on the screen that when a firm produces a small number of quantity, then the total cost rises sharply. After a certain amount of quantity, the total cost increases but slowly to a specific number of the quantity. The total cost starts to rise sharply again. It can be seen that these 3 phases of the total cost indicates something that economists can do the profit maximization later. According to the nonlinearity of the total cost, here we see the marginal cost as a U-shape or parabola. If the total cost is not nonlinear, then the marginal cost cannot be like this U-shape. Together with the average cost and average variable cost, AC and AVC, that are U-shape or parabola too. The marginal cost can be derived from the slope of total cost. When you calculate the slope at point A, B, C, and D, and plot all the value at A, B, C, D in another graph, you will find the marginal cost in U-shape. To find the AC, you draw a straight line from the origin to touch the total cost and measure the slope of that straight line. It will represent the average cost, because the average cost is the total cost divided by the quantity. By mathematics, the slope of this straight line is that number. When you calculate the slope of these straight lines at point F, G, H, and J, and plot all the values in another graph, you will find the U-shape of the AC. You will see the relationship between the average cost AC and marginal cost MC. For example, at point B, on the screen you see the slope that represents the AC, which is greater than the slope of the straight line representing the MC. Therefore, when comparing the MC and AC in another graph, you see that the AC is above the MC at point B. Here we are at point H, and you see that the slope of the straight lines representing both AC and MC are equal. Therefore, they are equal, and you see that they are equal at the bottom of AC. And another point, K, you see that now the slope of the straight line representing AC is smaller than the slope of the straight line representing the MC. Therefore, at point K, MC is above AC. Don't forget that we have the AVC, the average variable cost, starting from the origin of the graph and is nonlinear. It forms another U-shape below the AC in the family of cost structure. To find profit in profit maximization process, we need to have the revenue, and the revenue in perfect competition and revenue in monopoly market are different. Here we will begin with the revenue in perfect competition under the law of one price. You will see on the screen that market is the price maker. The demand and supply creates the market equilibrium at the yellow point, and this point will govern the revenue for all the firms in the perfect competition. When market is the price maker, then the firms are the price taker. When the market decides that the price of the product is 2 baht, then all the firms will sell 2 baht, not more or not less. Why? If you sell more than 2 baht, no one will buy from you. But if you sell under 2 baht, you cannot attract anyone to buy from you, and you will lose the gap between your price and that market price. Instead of losing that, you better sell at the market price of 2 baht. And people notice that all the vendors sell at 2 baht, and they don't expect that other vendors or any single vendor sell below 2 baht. Therefore, there is no the attraction to attract people to come to you if you reduce the price under the market price. When a firm is price taker, therefore the firm sells the product at 2 baht each. When multiplying this price to the quantity sold in the market, then it forms the total revenue in the perfect competition. And the total revenue, or TR, is linear and beginning from the origin of the graph, because if you sell nothing, you will find no revenue. And if you sell one piece of product, you will get 2 baht, or at the market price. And if you sell 10 pieces of the product, you will get 20 baht. Correct. Now we turn to profit maximization in perfect competition. We have the total revenue in perfect competition, as discussed earlier, and the total cost from the family of the cost structure. When comparing the total revenue and the total cost, we see the gap between them. If the total cost is above the total revenue, or the black line is above the blue line, then the firm will lose the money and will get lost. But if the blue line is above the black line, that indicates the profit from selling the products in the market. Here we find the profit maximization using this calculus. Thanks to Isaac Newton, who invented calculus. Here we find where the MC is equal the MR, or the slope of TC equals to the slope of TR. At that point, you will find the maximized profit. The gap between the total revenue and total cost will be highest, or will be largest. And at this point, you will see at the yellow point, MC equals to MR, and it indicates the equilibrium of the quantity and the price. and the equilibrium price is equal to MR, because price and MR and AR are the same in perfect competition, and the firm will sell the quantity of their products at Q star, where is the equilibrium quantity. To find the profit, you have to compare with the average cost. Here, at the level of Q star, or the equilibrium quantity, you will see another yellow point. There, it indicates the average cost associated with the quantity Q star, and you will see the gap between P star and AC star. It indicates the profit, because P star minus AC star, that is the unit profit, and when you multiply that unit profit to the quantity sold in the market, it is the profit. And the area P star and the first yellow dot, the second yellow dot, and AC star creates an area of profit, and it ensures that this is the maximized profit. The firm cannot gain more than this in terms of profit. Now we turn to the revenue in monopoly market. In monopoly market, there is just only one vendor or one firm in the market. Who is the monopoly? It controls the price, or it controls the quantity. But in principle, the firm cannot control both the price and quantity at the same time. This is very important. You have to remember that the monopoly can control just only the price or the quantity, but not both price and quantity at the same time. For example, now, if the price is set very high, very expensive at 10 baht, you cannot force the market, or you cannot force the consumers to buy many of the products at this price. But if you lower the price to 2 baht, what would happen? You see on the table, then it attracts consumer to buy more. For example, here, if the price is 10 baht, then the quantity is just 2 pieces. The total revenue is 10 multiplied by 2 is 20. The AR is TR by Q is 20 by 2. This is 10. And MR is the change of TR by the change of Q, that is 20 by 2. This is 10. Then when you lower the price to 8 baht, the Q is increasing from 2 to 4, and you will find that you have more revenue from 20 to 32. The AR decreases from 10 to 8, and the MR decreases from 10 to 6. And last, if the firm lower the price to 2 baht, it attracts a lot of customers, and it can sell 40 pieces of product. Now you see that the monopoly gets 80 baht of the revenue. But if the firm sets the price at 6 baht, it will get 120 baht of the revenue. Why not set the price at 6 baht? I will show you that the total revenue can be nonlinear and it can decrease, and this is good for the profit maximization. Let's go next. You see that the total revenue curve in monopoly is nonlinear and it can be decreasing. Here are the associated AR and MR, and you can find that the AR is above the MR. To find the profit in monopoly market, you can see that the gap between TC and TR will indicate the profit, and where the gap is largest, then that is the highest profit. Where can we find the highest profit? Thanks to Isaac Newton again. Here we can find the quantity where MR equals to MC. MR is the slope of TR and MC is the slope of TC. When they are equal, it will indicate the maximized profit at the equilibrium quantity Q star. When we draw AR and MR together with the family of cost structure, you can see that at Q star, MC equals to MR, and when we find the AR associated with that Q star, we can set the price P star because AR and P is the same. Therefore, we can read the price from AR. To find the profit, we need to have the AC, and the associated AC at the level of Q star is AC star. And here, the profit that gained by the monopoly is the area of the square P star and those two yellow dots and AC star. And it ensures that this profit is maximized or the largest. The monopoly cannot have more profit than this. Now let's turn to the condition of normal profit in perfect competition. You will see that as long as the firm in perfect competition gains excess profit, then the price is above the AC. You can notice that this price is created by the market. You remember that the market is the price maker and the firm is the price taker. The price is from the equilibrium of supply and demand. And when the market price is set by the market, the firm must take that price to be the price that they sell the products in the market. If they sell less than this, it cannot attract any customer to come to buy their products. But if they sell above this price, they cannot sell because customers will think that why buying the more expensive things. Here we are. If we have the excess profit in perfect competition, now other firms will come to the market very easy because the product is very similar or identical. Therefore, more and more firms can enter the market, and now it drives the supply of the market larger, higher, but drives the price down. When the firm is the price taker, it has to sell cheaper than the situation earlier. Comparing to the AC star, now the gap between the price and the cost is smaller, and the firm will gain just only the smaller excess profit. What would happen if more and more firms enter the market? Here the price was driven even lower, and P star is lower than AC star. The firms get lost instead of gain the profit, but now they lose money from selling the products in the market. What would they do? Some of them who cannot survive in the market will exit the market. Those exits will allow the supply to shift back because number of firms are smaller. Now because of the smaller supply, the price is going up. If the price is equal to AC star, then the firm gets the normal profit. The normal profit is not the excess profit that attracts other firms to come into the market, but it is not the loss that drives some firms away from the market. Therefore, now there is no enter and there is no exit from the market. When there is no incentive for both the entry and exit, then the price is stable. Here you see that in the long run, all the firms in perfect competition gain just only normal profit. Otherwise, then the supply will drive the price down and force some firms to exit again at the equilibrium. Therefore, in the long run, all the firms in perfect competition gain just only the normal profit. Here we are at the monopolistic competition. You have seen in perfect competition that all the firms gain just only normal profit. The only way out of this situation is to create product differentiation, or to make the products different from the products of other firms. To do this, a firm should invest in design, branding, and advertisement to make the features and the functions of the products different from the products of other firms. If the firm could achieve in product differentiation, then it could divide the whole market into a smaller sub-market and occupy that sub-market for its own. It means that there is just only one firm in that sub-market and acts as if it is the monopoly. You can see that by the framework of monopoly, the firm who could achieve like this would gain excess profit. In the long run, however, other firms would be able to imitate the products of that firm and try to extract the excess profit away from that firm. If other firms could achieve the imitation of the products, they can enter the submarket. Consequently, the size of the submarket that can be occupied by the first firm would be shrinked and smaller. You can see from the screen that AR, or the demand, would decrease. You may remember that AR and demand are the same. Therefore, the price would be lower, and the gap between the price and the average cost would be smaller. The results would be the smaller excess profit, along with the smaller size of the submarket. Moreover, if more and more firms could enter the market, the AR, or the demand, would decrease extremely, and the price might not be able to compensate the average cost, and it would be the loss, not the profit, that the firm would gain. You can see that in this dangerous situation, some firms could not survive in the market because of the loss. Then they exit the market. When they exit the market, the AR, or the demand, would increase because the size of the submarket is growing larger because of smaller number of players or firms in that submarket. And the size of the submarket that can be occupied by each firm would be larger. Then the price of that submarket could be increased, hopefully to be equal to the average cost. If price and average cost are equal, then the firm would gain the normal profit. And here you can see that there is no incentive for other firms to enter the market anymore. Why? Because they know that when they enter the market, they gain just only the normal profit, or they may lose the money if they are not lucky enough, or in technical term, if there are many firms in that submarket. Therefore, in the long run, firms in monopolistic competition will gain just only the normal profit. Whenever they gain the excess profit, what would happen to them? Other firms will imitate their products again and again, and the size of the submarket would be shrinked, and the price would be driven down again. So they could gain just only the normal profit in the long run. Although they could gain the excess profit in the short run, but because of the imitation of the products and the entry of other firms that drive the size of the submarket down, drive the demand of that submarket down, then all the firms in monopolistic competition would gain just only the normal profit in the long run. In summary, firms in perfect competition gains only the normal profit in the long run because of the free entry and free exit. Second, a monopoly firm gains excess profit because of barriers to entry. And third, a firm in monopolistic competition gains excess profit in the short run by product differentiation in its submarket, but gains normal profit in the long run when more firms can imitate the product and enter the submarket. These are the answers to the questions that I posted earlier from beginning of this lesson. You have to clarify your understanding according to this summary, and you will see that if you are a firm, then you need not to stay in a perfect competition. You may want to stay in as a monopoly, just only one firm in the market, and gains excess profit forever. But if that is not possible, the best escape is to find the differentiation of the product and stay in monopolistic competition and gains the excess profit in the short run. Although just a very short time, but long enough for the excess profit. After that, you expect that other firms will imitate your product and enter the market, and of course, you have just only the normal profit. And what's next? You need to create more. You need to create the differentiation to your products. That's the way of the business. difficulties to gain monopoly power is to create the barriers to entry. Barriers to entry may come from, first, a large amount of capital that is needed to invest. If you have just only amount of money, just only one of you, and other people, other firms have not enough money to compete with you in this investment, then you may be the monopoly of that market. Then second, the advanced technology. If you are the owner of the technology and other people or other firms don't have that kind of technology, then you can be the monopoly of that market. And third, the regulation. Regulation that allow you to be just only the one authority in that market. No one can add, no one can enter the market because there is no permission for other people or other firms to enter the market. Just only you who can enter the market. That's because of the regulation. And fourth, the influence. You may have some influences that avoid other people or other firms to enter the market. Many things that can be classified as influences. You may know or you may not know. So that's no matter, but we call it influence. Monopoly power in the whole market may be so difficult, but it is possible to gain monopoly power in just a small portion of the market. Think about dividing the whole market into pieces, and you occupy one piece of that market. It is called the market segment and the niche market that you can control. Only one thing that you have to think about is to create differences and add those differences into your products. You have to be very creative. You have to do designs. You have to open your mind to listen to customers or to use the imagination more than other firms and offer different products. Very different products. And it must be very good to that niche market. So you have to know about your customers. At least know what they want. Steve Jobs said that don't ask the customers what they want, but imagine what they should have in their lives. The product must be great for them, and everyone will want to have them. Can you do that? That is a way of doing business. And remember that create the differentiation of the products will be just a little way off from the strong competition. Otherwise, you will suffer forever in perfect competition or other kinds of competition, for example, oligopoly or duopoly. You must have the monopoly power in doing business, at least in your small portion of the market that you can control. That's the monopolistic competition. A business economist can talk to you like this. You have to enter the monopolistic competition by making your products different or offering the differentiated products. That's on the economic side. But if you are listening to the business consultant, he or she will advise you what should be the differentiation and what should be offered in the market segment, and what market segment that you should launch your new products. That's very important, because targeting the wrong market segment will definitely harm your business. But choosing the right market segment can guarantee the profit and guarantee the success of your business. That's very important and very interesting for your job or for your career in the future. So now we come to the end of the class. Thank you very much for coming to class today. I hope you enjoyed the class and see you next time.